As a biologist, I want to better understand the physiology and particular affinity bull sharks have for fresh water. I need to catch one.
I must have fished literally thousands of destinations all over the world, but this time I think I'm out of my depth. I've never tried to catch any kind of shark, let alone a bull shark.
100 miles north of where Peter was killed, in sight of land, I join a fishing charter boat out after sharks. With 4 rods set, I know I'm in with a good chance.
Oh yeah, right, there we go. There we go, that is a bull shark. Hammered, quite a big mullet, a couple of pound mullet, and just took off. I think we're ready to bring it in the back of the boat, actually.
Okay. This one's none too happy to see me, but after the hook's out, it becomes easier to handle. It's 4.5 feet long, around a third of the length they can reach.
Boat's rolling around a little bit at the moment, side onto the tide and rolling a little bit. So with something like this, mouthful of teeth, got to be a wee bit careful.
The teeth are partially obscured by thick gums, but the tips are as sharp as scalpels.
That's good to actually see one of these animals close up, get my hands on one, that's what I wanted.
But what sets this species of shark apart is its extraordinary ability to operate in both salty and fresh water. The bull shark is the only species of shark that can do this. Some scientists speculate that the bull shark is capitalizing on this adaptation to dominate new feeding grounds inland.
The bull shark is unique because it's actually much more capable than other sharks in regulating the amount of salts and urea in its body tissues.
Bull sharks constantly test the salt content of the water with tiny sensors mounted all over the body, similar to the way we use our taste buds. Then a special organ, the rectal gland, acts like an on-off valve, releasing or retaining salt as required.
It's really incredible how capable they are at doing that. But it's obviously energetically very costly, and that's why we tend to find the bigger animals capable of changing very quickly, whereas the smaller animals tend to stay within a relatively narrow band of salinity.
This amazing adaptation gives the bull shark a deadly access all areas freedom to roam, bringing its violence to our once peaceful inland waters. A predator that can operate in rivers and adjoining lakes all around the world. Responsible for fatal attacks from Australia to South Africa, from Florida to New Jersey. Armed with the knowledge I've gained from Terry, I'm driving 50 miles upriver, from brackish water to fresh water. I'm fishing at night. I'm fishing with the freshest bait.
So,
and I'm putting out 2 rods.
There we go, look. Something had that. It didn't have the hook in its mouth. So whatever it was, it's still out there, and I'm really out of bait now, so that's annoying.
Finally, I'm in luck. I've got a take on the other rod.
And keep it away from, there's some trees and stuff on the side there. Yeah, it's a shark. It's a shark. Up we come. This is a shark in a river. Okay.
This may be a small one, but for me this is, in some ways, more unsettling.
Up onto the grass.
I already know there are big females in this river. Catching one like this implies they're breeding here.
That body is just solid muscle. You just feel it. When it decides to flex, that's just got so much strength there.
This one didn't swim all the way from the ocean. It was most likely born in brackish water just downstream. And while only 18 months old, it seems to be thriving in fresh water. It's a scary thought that this river will be its hunting ground for life, another 15 years. At 3 feet 6 inches long and 15 pounds in weight, this one could triple in length and become 30 times heavier.
I'm just trying to imagine this thing 2 or 3 times the length in this water. It's quite a frightening prospect, you know, in a river, a small river. Anyway, this one's going back. Oh, 1, 2, 3.
I've been given a second chance,
Anchor up, please, anchor up.
and I'm not going to let this one get away.
And it's running, that's running, it's running. Tightening up, tightening up, tightening up, tightening up. Okay, right, we're on. Look at that, it's really cutting sideways, they're really cutting sideways. Oh, that was really heart-stopping when it suddenly goes slack and you think it's off, and then it's on. There's tension there again, it's probably kicking or rolling on the line even.
This apex predator is not accustomed to this kind of treatment.
Here he is.
Instead of running away, it's coming in to check me out. I can't imagine what the shark is making of this experience.
It's gone again. With a lot of fish, you see them up on the surface, you see them close in, you think that's it, they're nearly done there. I think this one was just coming up partly out of curiosity. What's all this? What's happening? Now he's checked me out, he's not coming anywhere near again. Ah, this is punishment.
2 hours into the fight, the shark begins pulling the boat towards some shallows.
We're under 3 meters now.
By now, the battle is beginning to attract attention. This is turning into an event. Everyone wants to see this shark.
I can see the fish, I can see the fish.
Back to 2 meters.
If my line catches a rock down there, it could cut through and the shark will be gone.
And we've got to get away from the rocks, it goes. We're still in 2 meters now.
I've got a boat full of scientists relying on me to get this shark in. The tension on board is palpable.
4 meters.
Okay, I've got the line. If it goes, it can go without the line catching anybody. Put that line around the... Right, have you got the tow strap round? Yeah. Good, okay, brilliant. Got a good hold? Yeah. Okay.
This is my biggest catch ever, and 2.5 hours is by far my longest fight. It's astonishing to think that I've hauled this beast from a river.
Oh, I do. Yeah.
But I was lucky to get it in at all, because it was foul hooked in the side, snagged on a flap of skin between the gill slits. The scientists want to know why the sharks are here.
Right, this is like sort of time is of the essence, and they're starting to pump water to irrigate the gills. That buys a little bit more time.
Last year's giant catch was a heavily pregnant female, which led the scientists to assume she was in this river to deliver her 2-foot-long pups. Our expectation is that this fish too is female.
3, 2, 1. It's a male!
Our first catch, and we have answered one of our questions. It looks like the Breeda River is a place where sharks come to feed.
3, 2, 1.
9.5 feet, and with an estimated weight near 500 pounds. He's one of the largest bull sharks ever caught anywhere, and I'm returning him back into the river. I've just caught a giant, but I'm not off the hook. The scientists want me to try for another, and this time, even bigger.
I just had a call from Paul, one of the team, that there's been a shark attack right off the harbour wall. This is the victim, is it?
It was incredible. I just put the boat alongside and heard a giant splash about 20 yards off the harbour wall here. There was a giant pool of blood. The fish floated up to the surface.
One of the reasons bull sharks got their name is because they are known to ram their prey before they kill it. This can clearly be seen by the marks along the side of this cob.
So you reckon it's actually just hit it from the side, and then when it's floundering in the water, it just came along and just. I mean that is just muscle, but that's a killer blow, isn't it? I mean the fish
straight through.
A battering ram armed with razor-sharp teeth.
That's about the thickness of my leg, which is quite disconcerting. And it's gone right through the backbone as well, just clean through. This is actually the biggest cob that I've seen so far, and that is without the final third, which is out there somewhere inside a shark.
Witnessing how they hit monster-sized prey makes me even more determined to land a monster-sized bull shark. The capture of the male shark told us that they're probably here to feed. And the tracking showed us that they're actively following fishing boats for an easy supply of food. Catching another big one would confirm the Breeda River as home of the monster sharks. I've left the tagged shark several miles upriver and set up just off the town of Vitsand.
This is what I use for Goliath tigerfish, Nile perch, things like that. 80-pound line. So a big shark on here would be very interesting. I might actually just try pulling the bait a little bit. You know, if there's a predator watching, sometimes just a little bit of movement, you know, it's thinking about it, it's thinking, do I want it? Don't I want it? But it's got time to think about it. If you move it, suddenly it can be like a reflex. They'll just bang, they'll hit it. Something had to go. Yeah, wait a minute. The balloon is gone. 1, 2, 3.
This could be the monster I came here for.
It knows it's hooked now. This feels a good sized fish. It's running, it's running, it's running.
Only a shark in this river runs with this power and speed. But I've got a problem.
Oh, wait a minute. What's happened there? Suddenly went slack. Oh, no, that's round something. That's round something. Ah, that is actually snagged.
I've already lost one shark to a broken line. I don't want to lose another.
I can still feel the fish. If we can go back, Mark. Need to get it off that snag, whatever it is. This is not good. I think we're clear. I think we're clear. Oh, the line is a bit shredded there. Oh, that line is in a bad way.
This shark has taken the line round some debris on the bottom. And even though it hasn't gone through, it's very badly frayed.
I'm only on about, I don't know, might only be 50% strength on the line.
My line is wearing through. But if I try to bring the shark in too quickly, I could lose it.
I'm just so nervous because I know the line's not in a good way.
1 hour and 1 mile further upriver.
A friend of mine who's caught bull sharks said to me, bull sharks will, you know, they're not like something like a mako shark, which is a real speed merchant. A bull shark is very solid, very muscular. It'll just like take you for a walk. I feel like a 6-year-old child taking a Rottweiler for a walk.
It feels bigger and stronger than the other shark.
It's just getting more lively all of a sudden. It's right under the bow. If we can go left, all right. Okay.
3 miles from where I hooked the shark, and it's still pulling the boat.
People who say catching fish doesn't cause any pain, which they're wrong. My back is killing me. Not to mention where the rod butt is jammed. Oh dear. It's going to be an interesting colour, I think, after the end of all this.
The fight is now heading towards its 3rd hour. The shark has taken the boat and me 4 miles upriver.
It might come up, it might come up. Coming towards the surface. That's a tail, that's a fish. Dorsal and tail, dorsal and tail. First time it's broken the surface. It's going to show again. That's the dorsal. Ah, Wait, it's under the boat, it's under the boat. Back, please, back, 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 back. So last, here we go. Right, now absolute concentration. If I say let go, just let go, all right? Okay.
The gaff is necessary to hold the head up, but it barely punctures the tough skin.
Bloody hell! It's not really gaff, is it? This is going to break the gaff. It's going to break the bloody gaff.
This shark has battled with me for 3.5 hours and dragged the boat 5 miles up the river.
Get to the bank, I think.
We just need to get to the bank. You guys need to get off.
Never had a fight anywhere like that long before. That's almost double the longest fight I had with a freshwater stingray. And those things just glue themselves to the bottom. Wow. Right, the gaff's now out.
This bull shark is definitely larger than the last one I caught. We'll keep it alive while the team takes samples, measure it and insert the acoustic tag. Then get it back into the river.
Sharks can't actually pump water over their gills, so I'm wedging the mouth open with a bit of wood and just shoving water in its mouth. Yeah,
It's another male bull shark, 9 feet 10 inches long and more than 500 pounds. The biggest fish I've ever caught and one of the largest male bull sharks ever landed.
tags are there, samples taken, parasites, all the rest of it. Very quick operation. But this thing, having been so strong for so long, is now just feeling a bit like I am. So we just need to get it revived.
Sharks trigger a primal fear like no other. And even though it's utterly exhausted after fighting with me for nearly 4 hours, this bull shark can still prompt a nervous run for land. Two catches, proving that last year's shark was not a fluke, and that the Breeda River is home to some of the largest bull sharks anywhere in the world.
When I first came here, I never imagined that what we would find out would take the investigation so far forward and actually provide likely answers to some of the big questions about the sharks in this river. It seems that they come here during the warmer months of the year to feed, but it's not a random feeding strategy. Instead of wasting energy by chasing free-swimming fish, they're actually taking their food from anglers' lines, like plucking fruit from a tree. It's a very efficient way of feeding, and perhaps this explains why the sharks in this river are so big. This easy food source also possibly explains why there have never been any attacks on humans. And as long as the numbers of those small fish remain healthy, this remarkable coexistence between humans and potential man-eaters should continue.
Out of the corner of my eye, I'm aware of a more sinister predator. For a saltwater crocodile, humans as well as crabs are fair game. This wouldn't be a good place to fall in. This time, I'm hooked into something meaty. It's only day one, but I wonder if I'm about to get lucky.
That's actually running. Back a little, back. Oh, here we go. Coming up.
Just when I think it's in, the fish kicks off again, and I grab my rod back for round two.
Okay, hold there. I'm going to take this easy because I can't get a positive ID in the water. It's very muddy water. Oh, it's a shark. This estuary is just full of predators.
Bull shark. I keep well clear of its mouth. Even a 5-foot juvenile could bite my hand off. The adults can reach 13 feet and probably kill more people than any other shark. This is one of the few sea dwellers which, like sawfish, can swim up rivers. Well, that's a bit of drama. I'm glad we got that in. It's always exciting to get a fish like that in on light tackle. But a bit of disappointment. That's not the fish that I'm after. I'm after something that looks actually quite similar to that. So I've got it all to do again. Next time the line goes, I want it to be a big sawfish, not a bull shark. Perhaps darkness will draw a sawfish out of its lair. It's often said they're more active at night. Just in case I doze off, I tie an empty can to the line. Should anything run off with the bait, the noise of it moving will wake me up. I'm over 150 miles from the mouth of the river here, but apparently in the past, according to Mary, there have been some big sawfish caught from this very place. A long day baking in the outback sun has left me exhausted. But my overcooked brain refuses to switch off. I still have little sense of how dangerous sawfish are to people. Back in that hardware store 20 years ago, the answer seemed obvious. Yet for such a large and viciously armed beast, I'd have expected a lot more bad press. Especially from populated areas where sawfish were once common. After all, this is a fish said to have hacked a man in two. After a day of fishing without success, darkness has finally brought me a bite. My bare hands take the strain as I wind in the line, but the fish on the end is not what I'm expecting. Bull shark. A bull shark this far inland is a real eye-opener. These aggressive fish are clearly thriving here, even during the dry season when this part of the river is little more than a stagnant pond. So, a pretty hostile environment. You can see why everything in there basically is tooled up. You know, the sawfish possibly needs that weaponry for defence, who knows. Anyway, I better put this back. I'll just hope I don't hook him up again. Even though I know bull sharks come up in, fresh water, it's still really strange seeing them here. Something on. It's where he stop, start, run. That's a fish on. Oh, yeah. And I can feel a kick there. Yeah, that's a kicking away. Once again, I'm reassured to know that Mike has got my back. The big fish pull, so worst case scenario is I actually end up in the water. Finally, the fin I've been waiting to see.
To get a closer look, I need to tie a rope around its tail and drag it ashore. But I have to be careful. Even after the longest battle, sharks always keep something in reserve. They go bigger than this, but this is a respectable sized fish. This juvenile bull shark is about 6 feet long and is the right size to be leaving the freshwater and heading out into the ocean. The hook has cut the shark's mouth, but once it's released, it will heal very quickly. This shark's gums conceal its mouthful of razor-sharp, serrated teeth, which it only unsheathes moments before sinking them into its prey. You can absolutely understand how somebody, even with an exploratory bite in a way from an animal like this, could just bleed out, lose a lot of blood, and that could be a fatal encounter. The fish could have spent the last 5 or 6 years actually in the inland waterways, in the canals, along with possibly thousands of others. And that's certainly quite sobering. If your paths crossed with a creature like this, it could end very badly. But I think the miraculous thing is that most of the time, the bull sharks go their way, we go our way, and actually nobody's any the wiser. Now I've landed one of these bull sharks, it's clear they are swimming among us, in freshwater rivers and canals, which run right through human habitation. So far, attacks have only occurred along the coast, and those attacks are probably more accident than targeted assault. They're mistaking humans for their usual prey of smaller fish and dolphins. Horror films and news reports forever remind us of the threat of a shark attack in the ocean. But what of these quiet inland waterways? Most people who use them are unaware of the killers just beneath the surface. And as more humans and sharks share these spaces, a freshwater Jaws could be just around the corner.
Any fish living in this predator soup needs to be constantly alert.
The bait is gone.
And when they're all watching their backs, they're harder to catch.
This is going out.
But the next morning, something at last lets its guard down.
I'll let it play with it a bit more. It seems to be quite hesitant. Okay, I'm going to hit this. Yeah, there we go. Oh, it's a shark, is it? It's a bull shark. It's a bull shark. All right.
Nearly 50 miles from the sea, I've caught a young version of the ultimate marine predator.
So this is a bull shark up a river, wandering in from the sea, spending part of its life here.
This bull shark, tagged by scientists, has the amazing ability to swim in both salt and fresh water. Physiologically, it's comparable to a person breathing on the moon. I've tracked them down in rivers and lakes across the globe, and I've seen just how deadly they can be. But with the rare Glyphis also prowling these waters, the bull shark may not be the only killer fish in this river.
Well, there's the proof that there are bull sharks in these rivers, and I have to say, until I'm convinced otherwise, that remains my #1 suspect for any shark attack in a river.
So what better place to start than some of the sharkiest waters on Earth? 2 miles off the coast.
Bit of scent to bring the sharks in.
The high seas are normally off my radar, but there's a theory that this is the home of the adult Glyphis, which has never before been caught. With a large hook through a pound of dead fish, I'm ready to brush up on my shark fishing skills. Straight away, I'm into a shark.
It's just turned up. It's coming up. There's a shark. I've just seen the fin. Yeah. Yeah. Just saw a sort of blue-grey shape screaming off to the left there. And there was a shark jumped out of the water, then just a frenzy. And I think this leader here just basically got caught in the crossfire. Something just swam into it with its mouth open, and that was that.
A thick wire trace protects against the shark's teeth. But it's so thick with sharks out here that another one has sliced my line above the wire. My first lesson, grab a heavier rig. And don't let this one get away.
I might need the other part of the strap. Right, the only thing now is that I'm actually attached physically to the rod.
If the rod goes down, I go down with it.
The fish just hanging deep, and it's a sort of a stalemate, I think. I'm bringing in a bit of line, and then a bit of line goes out. You see the fish, see the fish, see the fish.
It's a shark. But as I get it to the surface,
Look at that, look at that, look at that!
it's got other ideas.
It's going down, just going straight down, down, straight down, straight down. That's a kick of the head. Oh, it's not.
Steve has literally got my back to stop me going down with it.
This is shaping up possibly to be a bit of an epic. The shark is one of the few fish that actually does weigh something in the water. You could have a dead shark on the end and you'd still have trouble getting it in. Oh.
But at last, the beast is tamed.
So this is a Requiem whaler shark, very solid, strong, deep-bodied fish, big fins. And looking at the business end of this, you definitely wouldn't want to be investigated by this animal if you were in the water. But this is where you expect to find them. You don't normally find fish like this in rivers.
But I'm not looking for a normal fish.
I was just trying to catch bait on this small rod here, and a shark has just grabbed a little head on the end.
Adult Glyphis may live out here, but I'm starting to see why none have been caught. There are so many other sharks beating them to the bait.
But this water here, absolutely full of sharks, full of them. Yep, bit.
Battling shark after shark.
Quite a war of attrition.
I'm taking a beating.
That's an hour. An hour.
This trip to sea has allowed me to refocus my approach. Any shark swimming into the Fitzroy from the ocean must pass through King's Sound. And that's where I'm heading now. The next morning dawns calm. We get back out onto the Sound and into a good spot before the tide starts running. The scientists are also here, and Jeff is preparing his nets.
Morning.
Hey, how's it going?
All right, you're just waiting for the tide, yeah?
Yeah.
If I catch a shark, I want to be sure I'm identifying it correctly. I don't want to miss a Glyphis.
So you optimistic for today?
I'm always optimistic.
Now, if I go and put out a line and I get something which looks a bit like a bull shark, how will I know if it is a Glyphis?
A couple key features is the eye. It's really small, especially smaller than a bull shark.
Yeah.
In addition, you got the dorsal fins. Unlike a bull shark, the second dorsal fin on a Glyphis is much larger.
So it's a bit like a bull shark, but but not quite.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, the reason they're mostly confused with bull sharks is because they both occupy the same habitat, this really murky, muddy waters. So, yeah, we have to have a little luck on our side.
I leave Jeff and his crew on the nets. My challenge is to get a bait to hold the bottom in the swirling currents. What we've done is we've tucked into a little eddy so that the main push is going there about sort of 15 yards out, but we got a back eddy and some still water here, which is exactly the kind of place that anything on the bottom is expecting to find food. Zero visibility in the muddy water means I'm relying on the shark's acute sense of smell to home in on my fishy bait. I think there's something there. Yeah. I've got a fish. It's small, but it might be interesting. Oh, it's a shark, it's a shark. Spiky teeth on the lower jaw. I now see for myself just how difficult it is to identify these juveniles. You know, I'm thinking it. I reckon it is. You know. Let's go, Jeff. But straight away, Jeff dashes my hopes.
So you can see here already it's not a glyphis. It's relatively big eye compared to what a glyphis would be.
Okay. So I was a bit excited then, but getting it out and then having a good look at it, it's definitely not. Okay. Do you know what it is?
The two suspects that I have in mind are the milk shark and the creek whaler.
But both of these sharks are saltwater species, which means this shouldn't really be here.
So I mean, if it's not a bull shark and it's not a glyphis, what's it doing in a river?
These large tides that are pushing up, this freshwater becomes more saltwater.
So you've got marine creatures that are on the edge of their domain perhaps, and as that boundary moves, they move with it, and if that means going inland, they could end up inland as well.
Yeah, most definitely.
It's still not my glyphis, but this unexpected catch blows my attack investigation wide open. It shows that on Western Australia's extreme tides, ocean predators can find their way some distance inland, with a whole range of new victims to prey on. The attack mystery may be solved, but my mission is far from over, because I still have to catch a glyphis. And the enormity of this challenge is beginning to sink in. Just 20 of these animals have been caught here in the last 10 years or so, and most of those have been taken in nets. So what I propose to do could actually be harder than looking for a needle in a haystack. Add to that the fact that this immense area of water has some of the biggest, most dangerous tides anywhere in the world, and it really is starting to sound like a pretty crazy undertaking. Attempting to catch what might be the planet's rarest shark on possibly the world's most dangerous river, have I finally bitten off more than I can chew? Tide and sands are constantly shifting in the minefield of the estuary. But we push through to find shelter in a pocket of slack water. With 3 lines out, now it's just a waiting game. And just waiting for something moving around in this very dark environment to sniff, sense what's on the end of the line. It's a shark. It's a shark. Yeah. Yeah, it's. That might even be a glyphis. It's the right shape and the right colour.
I know now from talking with Jeff this is not a glyphis because this second dorsal fin here is small. On a glyphis that is much bigger. That's going to be at least half the size of the main dorsal fin. This is a bull shark, but first glimpse breaking the surface, you just never know.
It's the wrong shark again. But before I get another bait out, the scientists call me over to take a look at the surprise they've pulled in.
It's a hammerhead shark. Well, actually this one is called a winghead. I mean, look at the width of that head. I mean, it is like some kind of underwater aircraft in a way. I've not caught a hammerhead before. So, I mean, this is impressive. Very strange looking beast. But I think what this really brings home is that the estuary here is just full of predators.
Another marine hunter following in the salty tides. But the more predators there are down there, the lower my chances of hooking the one I'm after. The tide has turned and the fishing is slowing down. Maybe I'm kidding myself to think I can catch the glyphis when fewer than 10 have ever been recorded on rod and line. But something has picked up my bait.
Maybe. Yeah, that is, I think.
It's running. Is this at last what I've come to catch?
Yeah, that's something. Lively. Coming up.
It's a shark, but it's far from caught. Because it's foul hooked, with the hook just nicked in its fin.
You can probably tail this.
It could break free any second. We just have to grab it.
Bait's gonna go.
Look at that.
That's okay, it's okay. Okay, hold there, that's good.
Suddenly, silence. Because everyone on the boat realizes this is something special.
Is this a positive ID on this then?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, fantastic.
It's the first time this species has ever been filmed. I've landed bigger river monsters, but none more rare.
This is a Glyphis river shark, very rare species. We've got a real positive ID on this. The shape of the notch just in front of the tail and also the anal fin. First one caught on camera. Important to get it back now.
You can count the people who have landed one of these on the fingers of one hand.
1, 2, 2.
But we need to work fast. This shark is so rare, we're only permitted to handle it for 60 seconds. So is it a killer? It's a powerful predator with super senses and all the right weaponry. But we've only just learned this shark even exists. And as yet, we don't know enough about its behavior or how large it grows to make that call.
You always get that feeling of disbelief when you put the fish back, but I think with this particular one, more so than normal. And the trouble is, because it's a fish that there have been so few caught, we just had to get it back in the water quickly.
This journey has shaken my assumptions about where the marine world ends and my freshwater world begins. I've added the glyphis to the very short list of fish that swim in both. But can I also add it to my list of dangerous river monsters? The jury is still out.
I mean, this fish here, people didn't know it's here 10 years ago. So it just underlines for me the fact that what's under the water, you know, it is still, even in the 21st century, just full of mystery. Hours melt into days, and I begin to lose myself in the eerie whistling of the lines. After fishing 400 rod hours and reeling in 50 miles of line, is my luck about to change?
Was it a good nod or? Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
You feel some real weight now?
Yes.
Yes.
That is
Good man.
that is not the lead. That's a fish. It's my last chance. But is it the monster I've come so far to find? Could be another 50 yards, it could be another 100. I've never had to haul any fish up such an extraordinary distance, way higher than the Empire State Building. There's a pulsing, there's a very, very sort of slow pulsing.
It's rolling, it's rolling. You have to, that's what you feel.
If this is a Greenland shark and its rough skin touches the braid, the line will sever and I'll lose my last chance. It's very important the other lines come in to make sure that we don't get tangled. I think it's getting near the boat. It's probably aware of the boat now. Leader's in sight. Okay.
There she is, there she is.
The Greenland Shark. It's just too big to bring on board. We'd only injure it trying. We'll have to tie it alongside. It's a monstrous thing to find this far inland and to bring up from such a depth as well, but we're just trying to get the tail rope on it now. By the standards of what normally lives inland, this is huge, this is monstrous. Willem's reckoning possibly 400 pounds. Despite their enormous size, they're a mystery to science. We know virtually nothing about how they live, breed or hunt. Small dorsal fin, that's not your normal erect shark dorsal fin. If this was actually at the surface, you wouldn't see that characteristic triangle cutting the surface. It'd be just more of a smooth hump. But if I want to get a closer look, and if the fish can't come to me in the boat, I have to go to the fish. I've no choice but to get into the freezing water with the world's largest predatory shark after the great white. This water, even through the dry suit and about 5 layers of undergarments, is cold. It's cold, and this thing lives in it all the time. I'm not up here, nearly half a mile down. Dark brown in colour. If this came up and did break the surface, you wouldn't actually think it was a shark. You wouldn't know what it was. It has got this sort of upturned boat hull appearance. What a beast this is. It's believed they'll eat almost anything they come across down in the abyssal depths. No one yet knows what potential threat they pose to humans. I've lost the front of the shark. We're a bit too close to the business end. I'm going to come back a little bit. I think it's probably getting close to the time when we should actually slip the hook out and let it go back to the depths. Yep. Okay. What you saw there. As I clamber out of the freezing fjord, Frederick tags the shark in case it ever surfaces again. Good, hook's out, tail rope to go. Oh, it's gone already, and it just seems very unreal now that it was here. A lot of people, even living around here, no idea that creatures like that are almost right under their noses. It looks like I was lucky on my first dive. The sharks nearby were not on the hunt. But I now need to find out what happens if someone is in the water when these sharks are in their very aggressive feeding mode. Scott has agreed to join me on my investigation, and we head towards a location surprisingly close to land where he thinks we'll find hunting salmon sharks. To
To check we are in the right place and that there are active sharks here, a remotely operated camera will quickly give me a view underwater.
Big jellyfish. Oh! There's a shark right through the screen. Right, where's that gone? Where's that gone? Here, there it is, there it is. It's circling. Circling. Is it my imagination or is that actually quite inquisitive? That's inquisitive, that's coming, that is inquisitive.
I'm beginning to wonder whether getting in again is the best idea.
Right, there's the bottom there. It's quite close to the bottom of that. Oh! That wasn't this sort of sleepy circling behaviour that we've been seeing on the surface. That looked much more purposeful, and that looked like it was definitely investigating.
The sharks are clearly very curious. Now to test their behaviour in their most aggressive state. We need to get them into their feeding mode by putting bait in the water.
We are seeing if we can get the sharks interested in herring. We're not using hooks though, we're just clipping them on.
If these sharks go for the bait, this will set us up to replicate the scenario I'm interested in testing. What happens if a fisherman falls overboard when a pack of sharks is hunting next to the boat?
I'll just pull it.
Yeah, just
sink a
let
little
it
bit.
sink a little and then slowly wind it. Good,
Here we
yeah,
go.
he's coming for it. Yeah, there he is. Coming up. He's following it.
My goal is not to catch a shark, but to switch on their hunting mode.
Scott, I think what I'll do in a sec is actually give you the rod, and if you can keep them interested,
All right.
I'll go and suit up.
Okay, good deal. All right.
I'm going in without any protective equipment, just a dry suit and a snorkel. But I'm staying close to the boat in case they appear ready to attack. Scott says I should be okay. I have to hope he's right. Now I'm in the water, I suddenly feel incredibly vulnerable. More and more sharks emerge from the gloom, chasing the bait with spectacular agility and speed.
That shark took that herring right in front of my face, saw its mouth open, and then it just turned away. They're feeding, but not on me so far.
Then the sharks close in, and I'm surrounded. They're striking at herrings only a few feet away. They appear to home in on anything small and silver, just like the fish they target. One shark carefully skirts around me to attack one of our shiny underwater cameras.
Very, very close feeding action there. One took the herring right in front of my face. It was coming towards me, but I think it was totally focused on that herring. I was there as a sort of an obstacle.
It was an unnerving experience, but what's important is that I emerged unscathed.
These fish are definitely in feeding mode, no doubt about that, but they're not going for people. That is shark mythology. The reality about these ones is they're focused on fish.
Choosing what to put on the hook is as much an art as a science, a mixture of experience and intuition. I start off using artificial lures designed to attract the attention of sight hunters.
When the water hits that, it tips the nose down and it dives down a few feet, and then while it's doing that, it's wiggling nicely as well. So I'm going to just buzz this off the edge of the mangroves.
By retrieving the lures quickly, I'm hoping to grab the attention of any predators that might be down there. It goes from shallow brown water, that's where I landed in just then, into deeper blue water. And I'm trying to sort of drop the lure along the edge of that because that's the kind of place where predators are going to lurk. Yes, that's something. Yep, there we go. Something there. You can see it. So I'll just swing that in. Great mangrove snapper. There you go. Just have a little look at the teeth in there. Get it to open its mouth. Ah! Right, okay. Score 1 to the fish. The artificial lure doesn't get me anything else, so I switch to real fish flesh.
Oh, yes. Yes. That's serious. Wow, that is serious. Notice the loss of line? Right, this took a fish, so it's a predator, and from the rate it's going, it's quite a good sized one. We're going to follow this. This fish is just not stopping. Getting some line back, we're having to use the boat.
If we don't keep up, I'll run out of line.
Oh, it's outrunning the boat now.
Unlike in most rivers, this water is so clear, I'm forced to use thin, almost invisible line. And the lighter the line, the easier it snaps.
Yeah, the runs are getting slower, or shorter. I can see the clear leader now. Yes, there it is, a shark.
An 8-foot bull shark. The triangular dorsal fin and stocky body are unmistakable.
Yeah.
But just as I get it close to the boat, it bites through the wire leader.
Bull shark, a well-known inhabitant of these shallow, warm coastal waters.
I've caught bull sharks before, and part of me is relieved it released itself.
Bloody hell! This is going to break the gaff. It's going to break the bloody gaff. That's definitely one that if you happen to be in the wrong place at the wrong time could make a very nasty mess of you.
That's 2 locations now, and each time I catch sharks. Both lemons and bulls are toothy predators, easily large enough to break ribs. But as far as I know, neither species can jump clear out of the water. The stories I've been hearing have been of people being plucked from the surface, so I'm not going to be fishing down on the bottom. I'm putting a float about 5 foot away from the hook. That's going to keep the bait round about where somebody's feet would be if they were treading water. I'm using wire because I'm after something with teeth, and then a fairly meaty circle hook on the end. I don't have to wait long for a bite.
Here we go.
Almost immediately, I'm battling something large and powerful.
This is heavy. Ah. It's on the surface. There it is. Still got strength in it.
It's a reef shark.
There we go. You see the friction burns on my thumb there?
There are at least 4 species of reef shark, all smaller than the tiger shark. But they are sleek, muscular fish built for speed and with a mouth full of razor-sharp teeth. They're certainly not creatures you'd want to get on the wrong side of. But are they man-eaters?
Seventeen, yeah.
Once the team has gathered all the data, I remove the hook and release the reef shark back into the water.
It's actually swum off very strongly, but the strength of that on the end of a line, well, I mean, it burnt my thumb, and I think if that was attached to your foot, for example, you'd have no say in the matter, you'd just be under the water. But what I'm wondering is whether that would actually hold on to your foot, or whether it would just take a bite. I think the only way to establish the bigger picture, I've actually got to get in the water.
Sharks all around me, all around me. Ooh. So these are reef sharks. They're resident here on the reef, and they're sizable. They're good sized fish. This is quite a spectacle. Lots of fish. They are very concentrated, very stirred up and excited by the smell of the bait.
Caribbean reef sharks are common in these parts. They can grow up to 10 feet in length and on occasion have attacked divers.
They're getting very close. They're going for the bait, but they're not going for me.
But only a few years ago, a diver right here had to fend off an aggressive assault from a reef shark. As their numbers increase around me, so too does their confidence.
Oh, that was coming right towards me. I think it might be time for me to get out.
I need to get out of this situation, but now my exit involves passing through a pack of hungry sharks. I have to try and keep calm and move slowly, as the shark's acute senses can pick up on my heightened heart rate, and I'm already feeling pretty vulnerable.
Quite a frenzy going on. They're everywhere.
That's pretty intense. But whether they'd actually take somebody down, I think they're capable of it, but I don't think they'd have the motivation. But in terms of actually clearing up remains down on the bottom, well, having seen the way that they were going at that bait box, absolutely no doubt that they could do that. No doubt at all.
One of the key features of a Lusker attack is that no remains are ever found. In a pack of reef sharks, I've certainly found a potential body disposal team, but not the assassin itself. Since last night, the team have been checking the long line, and at last, there's something on it. Could the assassin be waiting for me?
There's something big on the long line. We're hoping that it's a tiger shark. And actually, I can see a long shape in the water up there. That's a very big shark. It's very hard to say how big that is. It's down several feet, but this is definitely, definitely a serious sized fish. It's on the surface, it's on the surface.
It's a big tiger shark.
Here we go, dorsal, got the dorsal, yeah.
Many fish can be dangerous to handle, but it's a whole other level when the animal in question weighs hundreds of pounds and has a mouth as wide as a garbage can, lined with curving, serrated teeth. Once the shark is under control, the team sets to work.
347 centimeters, so 10 to 12 feet.
About 12 foot total length.
That's over twice my length. A shark of this size could easily snatch a full-grown man from the surface, so a child would have no chance. Tiger sharks are solitary hunters and are in the top 3 in terms of danger to humans, along with bull sharks and great whites.
All right, play on. Don't fool around. Pull the boat in.
And that was a transmitter just going in, and there are a number of receivers around the islands here, and that transmitter will speak to the receivers. It will give information on where this shark goes after today, after we've released it. I don't think I've seen surgery like this quite before. Can you flip it the other way up there?
Finally, I insert an ID tag into the dorsal fin.
Beautiful! Excellent!
Get that tag number and then we're good to go.
All right, let's go, guys. Let's go.
The release is an absolutely crucial time. Someone must get in the water to ensure that when it's freed, the shark stays upright and swims off strongly. Today, that someone is me. The ropes are released, and I take hold of the fins of a shark twice my length. It's an incredible sensation. I can feel the giant predator gaining power. Then, it's gone.
What a massive animal, massive animal. There was a moment there when I thought it was going to turn around and take a mouthful out of me, but actually it just swam off. So, what does that say about tiger sharks?
There's one other apex predator in these waters that I need to investigate. Along with some sizable bait, we've attached an underwater camera to the line. What I'm hoping to catch may not have the reputation of the tiger shark, but it's no less dangerous. And with its unique head designed for panoramic vision, the Hammerhead Shark is a prolific hunter. I want to see how hammerheads feed, but I'm not in a hurry to get in the water with any more sharks, so I leave it to the compact camera to capture the action.
Right, we've lost the camera. That's not supposed to... Has that happened before? No, that's not happened before. That's just bit clean through the cable. That is cable. That is thick cable, and it's never happened before here. So if we can retrieve the camera that was here, if it's not being digested as we speak, there might be some interesting footage.
Once the coast is clear, we search for the camera.
Excellent, thank you very much. Congratulations. Lovely. Well, it looks like there's a bit of water in there, but if we can get something off here, this is the witness. This saw what happened.
I head back to the Shark Lab to download the footage. Could what's inside help identify a killer? There is the bait. This is good. Sinking, 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 sinking. Boom. It's just been taken by a hammerhead. And it's running with it. It's running. It's gone a few feet. Right, it took it and spat it out. It's coming back at it again. For something that by rights shouldn't be able to see where it's going, it is being so precise here. It's taking it again, it's taking it again. It's running with it. It's thrashing. That was the moment when it actually sort of bit through the leader Right, that is the end. But that's quite incredible. It's always frustrating when you don't get the fish. But to be honest, from my point of view, I think I've got the information that I needed, which was, well, as soon as that bait hit the bottom and started to move, that fish was onto it immediately. So I think if a person met an untimely end, a hammerhead would absolutely be capable of finding the remains and polishing them off.
Shall I do a little?
The ice here is about a foot thick and takes some cutting.
Good, we've hit the seawater. Just push it underneath. Gone. Yeah. We have an ice hole. Fishing.
Ice fishing with hand lines hasn't changed much in hundreds of years, although hooks made from animal bone have been replaced by stainless steel.
Slightly more serious hook, and then that's not ordinary line, that's cable, that's wire cable, so even the Greenland shark's really big sharp teeth shouldn't cut through that. We've got a big lump of rock on the end to make sure it keeps on the bottom, and then we've got strong chain.
Simi unwraps his secret weapon, days-old seal meat.
That is horrible. But to a Greenland shark, that smells like dinner. Get that on the hook.
And then 3,000 feet of line, ready to drop into another world, where the water is pitch black and under intense pressure.
Okay, go. Yeah, go. So another one.
Yeah, get a knife.
So all the bait's in the water, and it's now pulling down fast. It's about the same distance to the bottom here as it is to the top of that mountain. Everything's very still up here on the surface, but there's a current. Even with that rock and chain on, it's not going straight down, it's going slightly that way.
The current will carry the smell out to sea, and if we're lucky, draw sharks onto the bait in pitch darkness, half a mile beneath us.
Again. We have the bottom. That's just a terrifying depth, and that is just way deeper than anything I've ever fished before.
The fishing that I normally do is often about waiting, but out here that's simply not an option. We would freeze to death. The Inuit way is to retreat to camp and return the next day. The extreme long line has been down for over 12 hours. With 3,000 feet between us and the bait, there's no way to know if we've got something on the line.
Maybe. This is the one Greenlandic word I'm picking up.
Until we haul it up.
We've got a long haul getting the rock and getting the hooks up from the bottom. Something like 3/4 of a mile. And over here, take a wrap. Off we go.
It could be wishful thinking, but this feels heavier than the weighted line we dropped down yesterday.
I think it's more. Yeah. Yeah. There could be something on the end of this other than that lump of rock. Feels like more of an effort.
Walking in relay gives us a chance to catch our breath.
It's a bit like hauling something that could be 1,000 pounds plus in weight, twice the height of the Empire State Building, something like that.
But half an hour of heavy hauling brings the end of the line to the surface.
Line, chain. Oh! Yes, there's a fish. We have a fish on. We just need to get the chain up. Oh, yes. This is a big one. How do we get it through the hole?
The shark isn't fighting. It probably died on the line overnight.
Oh, right. The hole isn't big enough for the shark, so just cutting more ice. 2, 3. It still feels like it's stuck. Looks like we're going to need a bigger hole.
I never like to see a dead fish, but it's all part of survival here for the Inuit. This shark will feed Simi's dogs for weeks to come.
This is a big head. How big is the rest of it? This could be the moment if the hole's big enough. Okay, ready? Need to... Yes, is that coming? Yes, it's starting to come. I think it's a good 10 foot or so. I think there's still more to come.
This is a perfect opportunity to further my investigation.
It's out. It's a big animal. This is massive. This is huge. Let's have a look at it. It's a female. Very shark-like tail, that asymmetric tail. The fascinating thing about sharks that we always want to look at is the jaws, the teeth. And the Greenland shark has these very pointy teeth on the upper jaw. That's for gripping. But then on the lower jaw, you've got these almost square-shaped teeth with almost like a chisel blade on the end.
They're definitely sharp, but are they sharp enough to attack and kill?
The other thing here is the nostrils. Thinking of my baits in the context of this place, we're talking about a depth of water a couple of 1,000 feet deep. The bait is just a tiny speck in that immensity of water, and this managed to find it, and the way it found it was using its sense of smell. Because I'm after a carnivore, I'm going to be using a dead fish. Quite smelly, this one. The thing is, when I put it in the water, the current is going to take out a nice trail.
Unweighted, the bait would get washed away by the current. So I'm using a big lump of dead coral to hold it on the bottom, where there's a much better chance of getting a strike. I'm tying the weight onto the main line with weak monofilament, so that when something takes the bait, it will snap off, and I won't have to haul in the rock as well.
No need to cast this, I'm just going to lower it off the back of the boat and the current will take it down some way.
I've barely set my rig when there's a bite.
Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. Yes, 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 yes. Here we go, fish on. It's here, it's this side. It's about 5 feet long. Whatever it is about 5 feet long. There it is.
An unmistakable fin breaks the surface. It's a juvenile bull shark, at home in salt water, but also comfortable in the brackish water of a river mouth.
We're going to get in the boat, have a slightly closer look at it. So, if I just lift up here, John's going to get the tail. We're good to go. There it is.
We have to be careful. The shark's highly flexible cartilage skeleton allows it to bend back on itself in ways that bony fish can't.
The thing with this is, just half a second lack of concentration, you've got a hole in your arm and you... Okay. This is about the right size for the fish that bit Jim's brother, but look at the teeth.
I've seen the mark of this beast before. Normally hidden by gums, its teeth, like almost all sharks, leave behind a distinctive crescent-shaped bite. So sharks aren't on my suspect list. Their jaws just don't match the puncture wounds I'm investigating.
So interesting to see what's in these waters in the way of predators. I think it's still alive. I think it's time to put this over the side.
Although it's a biter, this one's just tried to take a chunk out of me. This isn't the Magilu that Jim talked about.
Off it goes. We're just trying to get into position on the drop-off. About 300 foot of water is what we're looking for, and then we're going to drop down the anchor, and we're going to stay here into the night. There we go. For predatory fish, catching prey as night falls requires a different set of skills. As the sun sets, light in the water begins to fade and sight hunting becomes far more difficult. But some hunters have developed highly tuned senses that detect even the smallest vibrations in the water that panicked or struggling prey send out. Oh, it's running. Yeah. Okay. Whatever is on the end of my line is powerful and wants to go deep. Something in the behaviour of the fish has changed. This was pulling away, pulling, diving really quickly, and suddenly there's a bit of a dead weight now, but it was a very, very lively weight. It's a bit of a mystery. What's going on here? Because it's going away from the boat. Oh, look at this, there's a shark following. 2 sharks. This is steaming away, steaming away. What was on there was half a tuna, and 2 sharks following it. Well, there we go, there's a bare hook, but there's a story behind that bare hook. There was a sizable tuna on the bait originally, and what came to the surface was the front end of a tuna, just the head, but behind it a big sort of yellowy grey shape. 2 shapes, as a matter of fact. And it's not long before something else takes the bait. After its initial pull, it suddenly develops an extraordinary burst of power. It's going. Right. Oh, it's just going, it's just going, it's just going, it's going, it's going. It's going. It takes everything I've got to stop it. This was something that took right on the bottom. There we go, here it is, there it is. What's that? Half an amberjack. Shark spit it already. When I hooked it, it ran off, stopped, and then it went a second time, and actually now that I think about it, that second time was more powerful. And what that was actually a shark hanging on to this. Well, I think moving on, what I've got to do, I've got to fish heavier line, bigger reel to hold that line, heavy wire on the end, possibly a bigger boat. But in the pitch black of night, it's impossible to know what is really going on. I want to recreate that same scenario in daylight to try to understand the chain of events that brings in the bigger predators. Most of the island is pretty exposed, big swells, big waves, but this spot here, it's also very good in terms of water clarity. It's a bit like an aquarium, so this could be a good place to do a bit of an experiment. The water is certainly very clear. You can see lots of these black triggerfish, but let's see what happens when we put some bait in. The triggerfish swarm around the bait. Right, the triggerfish are really reacting to that. I mean, they just instantly, they're on it. The more bait I put in, the more triggerfish arrive. I don't think it's the scent, because it hasn't really got time to spread. It's visual, and then I think it's the noise of the first few fish reacting. It just brings everybody else in. I can see on the periphery of this there's other fish coming in. Just the commotion of these fish it's not just the bait hitting the water, it's the reaction of the other fish to it. What I'm going to do now, I'll just lob this over and see if this has any reaction.
My small-scale feeding frenzy hasn't attracted any larger predators. Then suddenly, that changes.
Shark just came from nowhere. I didn't see that approach. The sharks have arrived. It's right under the boat, There's one here. I think that shark's fairly serious about feeding. Very close to the boat, very close to people, doesn't care. And I think the reason that came in was because of all the activity from these other fish feeding.
These reef sharks were almost certainly responsible for the ambush on the fish I hooked last night. And on a small scale, this is a visceral demonstration of how a commotion in the water can quickly escalate into a feeding frenzy. Smaller fish bringing in the bigger predators. But these reef sharks won't stray more than a few miles from the island. I want to investigate whether the sound of the Laconia's boilers exploding underwater could have brought in sharks from a distance. My plan is to do this using an underwater speaker. Once we're far enough away from the island reef, we'll stop the boat's engines and I'll continue silently by kayak.
I've heard that there have been whitetips spotted in this area, and what I want to do, I want to just put some pure sound in the water. I don't want any scent, I don't want any visual stimulus, just sound, and see if anything actually responds to that. I've got all the equipment on board, and I'll just leave the main boat a little bit further behind, then I'll get the speaker in the water.
As the name suggests, oceanic whitetips are true open ocean predators. They are able to travel huge distances between feeding when prey is scarce. In the vast expanses of water they travel through, they are constantly on the alert for any unusual occurrence. I'm going to test whether sound in the water can bring sharks in to investigate the source. I'm putting a low-frequency tone through the speaker. A shark's hearing is adapted to very low-frequency vibrations, such as those made by struggling prey. The sound from this speaker has an underwater range of around 800 feet, spreading out in 3 dimensions. That equates to over 80 million cubic feet of water. Now, all I have to do is wait.
fin just broke the surface right here, right here, right here. Heading this way. I'm guessing about 6 foot under the water.
It's a lone oceanic whitetip.
And it's coming in. And it's just feet away from the speaker. It's actually just within 3 feet of the speaker.
But one lone shark doesn't prove my theory.
One here. Fin out of the water. Right, there was just one. I think, you know, there's at least 2 now. Right by the speaker, just 2-3 feet away. I think if I was actually in the water, that would be very ominous to see that. I mean, I'm safely, or relatively safely, clear of the water at the moment, but these sharks are definitely interested. They've come in from, I don't know where they were, but they've come in to check out this situation.
And the sharks aren't leaving. They're sticking close to the speaker.
The sharks are circling. They're just hearing the sound and they're circling me.
I'm encouraged that this experiment appears to be working, but I'm now surrounded by sharks longer than my tiny kayak. I'm a little worried they're becoming too interested in me.
Right here, fin on the surface, going down. I get the feeling that I'm being followed. I think one of the creepiest things is actually the fact that, you know, when you're diving, you've got a mask, you can actually see clearly. When you're above the surface is broken like this, you just see that very ghostly grey shape. Oh, here's one right here, right here, right here. And it's coming back.
Without an obvious food source, they've started to turn their attention to the kayak. It's time to turn the speaker off. Eventually, the sharks lose interest in both the speaker and my kayak.
So it does go to underline that if an event happens, it's worth them checking out.
For me, the evidence seems to suggest that the night the Laconia went down, the sound of the boilers exploding brought these sharks in from a large distance. Once at closer range, they detected the melee at the surface. To get a real understanding of what might have attacked the Laconia victims that night, I need to find out what kinds of sharks hunt in these deeper waters. And this time, I'm well prepared.
Getting some chum cut up to go in the water. Just small bits of fish which will just keep trickling in there at intervals. This creates a certain amount of scent in the water, but the other thing it does, it will bring in small fish, and then the activity of those will bring in larger fish. So we're creating a sort of an event here. We're creating something to make this bit of ocean stand out from all the other space out there.
I know that sharks have an extraordinary ability to pick up scent, but in such an immensity of water, chumming almost seems futile. But I keep the chum going in, which keeps the bait fish feeding near the boat. Then, I get a faint movement on the line.
Oh, there's a knock, there's a knock.
Whatever has taken the bait speeds off. What ensues is a battle that's still in progress an hour later. I winch it in, turn by painful turn.
Sudden slackening then, it could be in the fish trying to roll up the line. Thing is, when it does that, is to basically not give it that slack that it needs. Taking line again. Which way's it going? I think it's still here. Yeah, we're close, we're close. That's the leader knot. You can see the fish down there. This is a tiger shark.
Oh God, watch out.
Okay. Is that under the boat?
This tiger shark is not giving in.
Definitely not coming quietly, this fish.
It thrashes and rolls as it attempts to free itself, and it's all I can do to hold it.
Oh, That's gone. That's gone. We got the whole bait back, but the hook, it was just somewhere inside the mouth and it hadn't completely penetrated. The thing is, what they do is they roll up the leader, so you haven't got very often that direct pressure on the hook. The hook is, the line goes around the body, and I mean, you'd think, looking at the bend in that rod and the amount of general strain on everything, that hook would have gone in, but no, it was still a lot of energy when it came to the surface, and basically it just moved around enough to just work that hook free. So yeah, there's more sharks here than we thought.
Fishing the depths of the Atlantic won't be easy. And catching a real-life sea monster takes big gear.
Big circle hook on the end, attached to about 30 foot of nylon-coated steel wire, and then the actual line is 130 pounds, and on full drag, so it's pretty well locked up. So all we've got to do now, get the bait on, big lump of rock on that, send it down to the bottom, and I'm hoping fairly soon we will find out what's down there.
We rig underwater cameras to record anything on its way up to the boat.
The bait is down on the bottom, and yet anything that happens down there will be transmitted up. The rod top will move, and I could also feel it through my fingertips. It's almost like being a spider in the middle of a web. So now I'm just waiting for a knock on the line.
In preparation for something huge, I put on a fishing harness. But if I'm honest, I don't really know what monsters will be lurking at these depths.
Oh, there's a knock, there's a knock.
Then I feel the gentlest of knocks on the line, before the reel on full drag screams off.
It's going, oh, that is going at a speed. That is going very fast.
Whatever has taken the bait down on the bottom has really taken off.
Oh, here we go. It's got something like a tail banging the line.
It doesn't feel like anything I've ever hooked before.
A mystery beast. But it's been really steaming off, taking line. It's a very strong fish. I mean, that is a very strong animal. Very strong animal. It feels like a massive, I was going to say dead weight. It's not dead, it's definitely alive. But it's a weight. I'm breaking quite a sweat here. I winch it in, turn by painful turn. After nearly an hour of struggle, I might finally see my opponent. Whatever it is now close to the surface. You can see something down there. A very indistinct outline. But nothing prepares me for what is revealed on the end of my line. One way or another, this is sort of end game. There's the fish. There it is. What I've raised from the deep twists and turns on the line. It's like nothing I've ever seen before. What is that? It's easily longer than the width of our boat. I estimate around 12 to 14 feet long. That's a big old fish. Well hooked. Woo! Right.
Sixgill.
Shark scientist Tristan identifies it as a six-gill shark, a primitive creature that inhabits the deep ocean. Here we go. This animal has more fossil relatives than living ones. This is an absolute beast. An absolute beast. It's an incredible opportunity for Tristan. A deep-sea giant like this has never been tagged here before, and the information we might gain could be vital to my investigation. But we only have a short time to get a tag in.
Go for it. Quick. Yes.
See that? Fantastic. Tristan has to rope the tail to get some degree of control. Then he can insert the tag into its dorsal fin. Do you want those?
Yeah, that's it.
So this is 48 hours, then it'll pop off, is that the idea?
Yeah, this is 48 hours, and this will log temperature, depth, and light, and then pop off.
That's in?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Right, we got the tag in, and I think we've had as good a look as we're going to get.
All right, tail rope off.
We're now releasing the fish.
Here you go, girl.
Massive fish, and a creature of the abyss. Is this the first time tags of that kind have been used here, as far as you know?
First time anyone's ever put a satellite tag on a sixgill in Ascension Island. So it'll be very exciting to see what this animal does.
We have a reliable estimate of well over £1,000, something like 1,100 pounds. That is actually the biggest fish that I've ever caught. It's a very special place, very special catch. But thrilling as this catch was, I still can't place these leviathans at the scene of the Laconia's sinking. These are creatures of the deep. What would they have been doing near the surface? I've arranged to meet Carl Stanley, owner, builder and captain of the Idabel, a two-man submarine capable of descending to over 2,500 feet. We're going to attach a dead pig to the front of the sub as bait. As I learned from a former cannibal tribe in the South Pacific, pig meat tastes a lot like human flesh. I want to find out if this will bring in the sixgills. This is a slightly different type of baiting up operation for me. I'm used to putting things on big hooks, but I've never actually strapped a dead pig on the front of a submarine before. Normally when I'm fishing, I'm a long way away from the bait and I just get a tactile or maybe an audible indication that something's down there, and at that point I generally don't know what it is, but I'm going to be sitting literally a few feet away from this. So if something comes along and shows an interest in this, I'm going to have a ringside seat. I'm just a couple of feet away.
This is the pressure hull, and that's made out of 3 high-strength steel spheres.
Right, so I take it I'm in that bit there, and is that where you're driving it from?
Yes.
I'm not ashamed to admit that mixed with my excitement is mounting apprehension.
That's where I'm going. It's a wee bit claustrophobic, and under 2,000 feet of water, it's going to be a whole new level of that.
The curved walls make it almost impossible to sit up straight, and I could be spending up to 9 hours cooped up inside here. I'm positioned up front at Carl's feet in what he has dubbed the passenger sphere, which is a cramped 54 inches wide. The plan is to travel vertically down to 2,000 feet or maybe more, then wait and hope that the bait will attract the sharks on their nightly migration up from even deeper.
We're going down into the Cayman Trench, which at its deepest is about 25,000 feet. We're not going quite that deep, but probably a couple of thousand, and I've been told to expect a vertical journey of about 45 minutes.
As we descend, the temperature plummets from 84 degrees Fahrenheit to a chilly 50.
We're just coming up to 500 feet. And as we're descending, I sort of can't help thinking about when the Laconia went down. There were people who jumped in the water, but there were almost definitely going to be people trapped inside the structure as well as it sunk. And that is definitely a one-way trip. Sort of don't want to think about that too much.
My first glimpse of life down here, a sculptured lobster.
This really does feel like the surface of another planet. No footprints. This is a place where no human being has probably touched down before.
This means that although we can see what's going on, the shark can't see us.
So what we do now is we wait. Hagfish coming right in front of us. So we've got a hagfish that's come in here, and that's starting to feed quite actively. What that's doing, that's stirring up a cloud of scent in the water. There's giant isopods scuttling around as well, which have obviously got wind of something happening here. So there will be a cloud of scent slowly spreading out in the water, and what we're hoping is that that's going to call in the sharks.
Isopods have been observed going 5 years between meals, and in this environment they live in a perpetual state of semi-hibernation. They typically scavenge whatever food drifts down from the surface.
Shark, 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 shark. We've got a shark. Very faint, almost ghost-like, just drifting left to right, just on the edge of visibility.
But I'm guessing that wasn't just a sort of a coincidental drift by. I think it's probably picking up the scent. It's turning round, it's turning round. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Sixgill shark. Wow. That's a big animal. Big animal. I have to remind myself that although I can see it, the shark can't register red light, so it cannot see me or the bait. Oh, here it comes right over my head. And since we're not making any sound, it has found us using its sense of scent. It's now coming towards us, and it seems to be very slowly zeroing in. Is it going to feed? Is it going to feed? Where's it gone now? There it is. It's coming round again. It's coming into the bait. It's coming in. This looks quite purposeful. Look at that. Wow. That is a feeding shark. That's what a feeding shark looks like. It's moving the whole sub. It is actually moving the whole sub. That shark is bigger than the whole sub in terms of length. I'm literally inches away. Inches away. Well, I think it's fair to say it's got the taste for the bait. That's amazing. That's amazing. The bait has been obliterated by the shark's serrated teeth. Like a ghost, it vanishes into the darkness.
No, left. Hey, can you get in and just gather the left-hand side up? Someone take the rod, please.